I'll be like, hello?
Don't.
No, I can talk.
He's literally.
Hello, Miss Lady.
Gun control is an issue that has the potential to affect millions of people across the country. The right to defend yourself is an unalienable right. One of those rights is recognized in our Constitution, the right to bear arms, and it is also recognized in our Bill of Rights for good reason. Guns have been used by people to protect themselves for hundreds of years, quite effectively too. Strict gun laws historically have shown us that when law-abiding citizens have access to guns, it creates a safer environment. Guns are arguably the most efficient weapon commonly available to the average person, and thus making it the most common weapon of choice for people trying to protect themselves, their families, and those around them. But these people wouldn't need weapons if there wasn't a need to defend themselves against belligerents, whose weapon of choice is also likely to be a gun. If strict gun laws go into place, this is obviously affecting the law-abiding citizens that will no longer have access to firearms by leaving them defenseless against those who aren't obeying the law and will obtain their guns anyway. Making firearms available to every citizen and educating people about gun use and gun safety is a much more effective way for gun control. In a study published in the 2000 Journal of Quantitative Criminology, civilians in the United States use guns to defend themselves and others from crimes close to 1 million times a year. Now, 1 million times a year that someone has had to defend themselves from others by using a firearm. Now, that is not a right that law-abiding citizens attempting to defend themselves and their families should be denied. A nationwide survey in 1993 found that out of 5,000 households, at least 0.5% of those surveyed had members who used a gun in defense in a situation where they thought that someone almost certainly would have been killed had they not been able to use such a weapon for protection. This may not sound like a big number, but when applied to the whole population of the United States, that amounts to 162,000 incidents every single year. This excludes any military personnel, police work, or professions such as security guards. Meaning, all of these cases are civilians defending themselves. And in the same nationwide survey, it was discovered that out of 5,000 households, at least 3.5% had a member who used a gun for protection of property, work, or somewhere else. This statistic applied to the whole population amounts to a little over 1 million. It is impossible to argue that guns aren't an extremely effective means for protection. When you realize how many times firearms are used to defend innocent people, it seems unreasonable and counterintuitive to take them away from those people that are using them as lawful means of protection. There are cases throughout history of our nation and all over the world where tightening of gun control causes crime and murder rates to skyrocket in the areas where those laws are enacted. In 1976, Washington, D.C. passed a law that banned citizens from owning handguns and required that all firearms are to be kept in one's household and must be unloaded and either disassembled or with the trigger lock taken off. During these years that this law was in effect, which was from 1967 to 2008, the homicide rate in Washington, D.C. on average raised 33% over that time span. And in 1982, a survey was conducted among male felons in 11 state prisons across the United States. These statistics included the fact that 34% of belligerents had been scared off, shot at, or captured by an armed victim. 40% had decided not to commit the crime because they knew or believed that the victim was carrying a gun. And 69% of the men surveyed personally knew other criminals that had been scared off, shot at, wounded, or captured by an armed victim. This goes to show that guns really do work as an effective means of protection and home defense. Also, in 1994, there was a survey conducted by the CDC that found that Americans use guns to scare away intruders attempting to break into their homes close to 500,000 times a year. These numbers make it hard to deny that guns in the hands of law-abiding citizens make communities safer, no matter where you are in the country or the world. When you look at all the good firearms do for people who respect the power and use them correctly, it would seem absurd to take that power away from them. But that is exactly what strict gun laws will do. It will take the guns away from the law-abiding citizens who don't abuse their ability, while criminals who will have access to guns either way will be given the upper hand in violent scenarios. We don't want to handicap citizens. We want to enable them and give them the freedom to defend themselves in the best way possible. So I challenge you to consider the possibility of educating yourself in the safe use of firearms, not only for the safety of yourself, but for the safety of those around you. Thank you.
Amen.